Today's video, I want to go over a few things that I found that people get a little bit confused about, maybe some unexpected behaviors for the SQL Server agent. So, first of all, I just wanted to talk about one unexpected behavior is if you have a job, let's say you have a job and it's scheduled to run once every 15 minutes. And so what happens if it goes over that 15-minute duration? So we got a job running, it's running for 16 minutes now, and it's supposed to run again because it's a 15-minute interval. What's going to happen? Well, the answer is the SQL agent is smart enough to know to not respawn that job, so you won't get a second instance of the job. The other things here for shared schedules and ownership, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. So for shared schedules, let's say we create a job and you clone another job, right? So you take the job, you extract its DDL for creation of the job. What happens is the SQL agent will actually share those schedules. So when it gets generated, it'll use the same schedule for the copied job as it did from the original job. And so that could potentially create a problem for you if you didn't want these two jobs running on the same schedule. You know, sometimes, and how I came across this is I actually did this. So I created a job, I cloned another job, and I had them running independently for a while. And they were running on the same schedule, but then I decided for the second instance that I wanted to have it run on a different schedule. So I went in and I made the changes, and unexpectedly I changed the schedule for the original job. And so I was kind of surprised to see that until I realized that the GUID that was associated with both of those jobs was exactly the same. So typically what I'll do for this is that I'll clone the job, and then I'll go in and I'll delete the schedule for the cloned job, so that, and then even if it's the same schedule and I want them to run on the same duration and same interval, I'll still create a new schedule for it, because I don't know at one point in the future I'm not going to want these two jobs running on the same schedule. So that's how I deal with that. The other thing I wanted to mention is when you go and you create a job, by default what happens is the owner becomes you. So if you don't specify an owner for the job, the SQL agent's going to say, okay, well, you're the owner of the job. And that's great. When you first put it in, that might work fine for you. But what happens if you or whoever did this decides to either leave the company or their account gets disabled? Well, what will happen is that job will automatically start failing. And so you don't want that. And the way to avoid that is either when you create the job, actually specify a service account or SA, or after you create the job and you need to modify it, you go in there and you just change the owner of the job. And another thing that I've done in the past is I actually have, to kind of catch this, because I don't always create all the jobs and I don't know when other people are creating them, I'll just put a little simple job in that wakes up every day and looks for any job that's not owned by SA or the specified service account, and I'll change that owner. And so then we don't end up in this situation where jobs start mysteriously failing. So key takeaways here: jobs will not start if they're already running. So the SQL agent will not spawn the same job, even if it's specified to run every minute, every 2 minutes, whatever. If it sees it running, it won't restart it. And ownership of jobs, the job owner of account is critical. So you have to pay attention to when a job gets created, who is actually the owner of that job. And then, of course, I talked about the schedules being shared when you clone jobs. So I hope you guys got a little something out of this. These are some things that I just kind of noticed when I was talking to people over the last month or so. They didn't really realize, and I thought that there's probably other people out there that didn't know. So if you guys got anything out of this, please like the video, share it, and consider subscribing to the channel. Talk to you guys later. Bye.